This is the Conservative American Message, hosted by the one and only Cam Lau. Today is April 28th, 2025, and it is National Superhero Day. South African President Nelson Mandela said, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children." Before I do bless you with my political insights, as always, you need to pay for it. This podcast is presented weekly, free to you, and the only thing I ask is for you to give me a 5-star rating wherever you listen. Also, I would love it if you'd follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Conservative American Message. That will be your ticket to admission for today. We've seen a lot of positive progress on the transgender front in the last year even. Many red states have gone above and beyond to protect children and everyone from this radical ideology. We've seen states pass legislation to protect women in women's sports by not allowing males to come and compete against them just because they feel like it, by not allowing those same males to enter a female locker room and expose their genitalia to other female minors. I mean, this is just common sense stuff that never should have had to even become a law in the first place. We've seen protections be passed as far as public bathrooms and who can use which bathroom. We've seen states define the terms male and female and define those as the only two legitimate genders. Even the federal government has taken some steps under Donald Trump's new administration. He's actually made a lot of policies that require different federal forms to state only two genders, male and female. But the American people obviously support these policies. We elected these governors and legislators, and we elected President Donald Trump, who ran on a huge issue of this transgender ideology problem. But, of course, there are blue states in this country as well that are predominantly ran by crazed gay psychopaths, and they seek to harm our children by forcing this ideology upon them. Colorado has slowly emerged as a strong blue state over the last several years, and even before that. This really all goes back to their legalization of marijuana, which you would kind of see that if you legalize drugs, then maybe a lot of your laws are going to be created by a bunch of potheads. Now, the legalization of weed is a whole nother topic, and obviously that was a somewhat bipartisan decision, much more libertarian in its original plans. But this new government they have in Colorado is not concerned about anybody's liberty. They're only concerned about the liberty of the LGBTQ plus AI, whatever in the heck it is anymore, the sexual mafia that we talk about. They've passed a lot of these strong so-called protections for LGBT people, transgender people, all these different things. And now they have this new bill that is seeking to so-called protect trans children. There's also no such thing as trans children, guys. I mean, how can a child decide that it wants to be a different gender? Everybody in their entire life has probably had a thought like that. I'll be honest with you. You know, being the oldest child in my family and you have a sister, when you're a little 2-year-old, 3-year-old kid, you think, oh, I wish I was a girl because mommy and daddy are paying more attention to the girl than me, and that's because I'm a boy. A lot of those conclusions can be drawn because you're just a kid. You don't know. But in about 5 seconds, the kid might even realize, if you gave them that much time, that I do like being a boy. It's not so bad. Even if it takes them years to figure it out. You might have sent your kid to therapy. I don't know. All I'm saying is let's not chop off their genitalia and take them away from their parents. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. This new bill in Colorado is banning so-called dead naming and misgendering. So dead naming is the practice of calling somebody by their dead name, the name that they no longer use. So if, for example, Bill becomes Sally, if you call this guy who is a man, even if he looks like a man, if you call him Bill, you could actually face criminal prosecution in Colorado for using his dead name. He is Sally now. Misgendering is similar but more broad. They're talking about calling somebody a he or a she or whatever pronouns they want to use. And those can change on a minute-to-minute basis. And if you get the wrong one, even if you didn't know, you could be liable. They're making these practices illegal and abusive. And the abusive part is the main point here, because not only can I not call somebody the wrong pronoun walking down the street or face criminal prosecution, if I call my own child by the wrong pronoun, I could lose custody of my children. This is insane. I mean, how could we come this far to be a complete totalitarian state where we're taking people's children away because of the school system pushing this crap down their throats? If my child goes to a public school and is indoctrinated with this crazed sexual thought that they are the different gender or they like the same gender or whatever it happens to be, now for me correcting my child and telling them what the truth is, I can actually lose custody of them and the state will take them away from me. Now, luckily this is only in Colorado, so for me, I'm pretty far removed from this, but this is still happening in the United States of America. We need to be concerned, and if you're in Colorado, I'm sure you're very concerned. This shouldn't come as a surprise, though. We've seen this path that Colorado's gone down to the point where now even the governor of the state is a gay man. I mean, obviously, if you have a pervert running the state, he's going to start doing perverted stuff, especially when it comes to your kids. And really, the LGBT knows that this is the only choice they have, because two wrongs don't make a right. Two gay men, like the governor and his husband, they can't procreate. They can't make children. So how are they going to get children? Yes, they might have went out and adopted or had a surrogate. I don't know. I didn't dig that deep into the guy's personal life. But what I do know is that not the two of them together could make a child. But they can abduct a child. And that's exactly what the LGBT is getting the state to do. Because they can't create children. They're going to come to all the conservative, Christian, normal, cisgender people, and they're going to indoctrinate their children through the public school system and then abduct them from their parents when their parents try to teach them what is actually right from wrong. That is the only way that the LGBT can continue on. Because if they don't have those sources, whether it be abduction, adoption, whatever it is, however you want to frame this, they have to take someone else's kid. They can't make their own. Otherwise, they're going to die out. But we've seen the disastrous consequences of laws like this. In Canada, they have similar legislation that might even be worse because Canada has become a complete communist country. In Matt Walsh's What is a Woman documentary, he featured a father who, his daughter decided that she was going to become a man. The guy's ex-wife, this girl's mom, she was all about it, supported her all the way through. The father, when he just, I don't even remember that he objected completely, but he just had questions, accidentally called her the wrong pronoun, wasn't so sure if we should be getting surgery to change this for like a 15-year-old girl. That father lost full custody of his child, of course, because he's an abuser for calling her by the wrong pronoun, faced hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines, and actually ended up serving 6 months in prison. Canada's laws considers incorrect pronoun use to be a violent act. And the Colorado bill is very similar to this, which has already passed the House in Colorado. The only thing left is the supermajority in the Senate that the Democrats have and the homo governor. The only real hope is actually the courts, and that some federal judge appointed by Donald Trump might strike this down and at least look into it, because this is a very scary thing when we're looking at some of these states. And it's not just in not in Colorado. I mean, California, New York, a lot of these states have passed similar laws. And it's not cool. We need to fight this. However, I will say I've heard some conservatives from Colorado saying that we can't just flee Colorado. We have to stay here and fight. The problem is when you're putting a child at risk, if I'm a single man living in Colorado, yeah, I'm going to fight everything I can in my power to stop these insane laws and protest my government, whatever I have to do. But when I'm leaving my children in the care of that state, I got to get them out. If you live in Colorado and a law like this goes through, the only thing you can do for your family is to leave, unfortunately. I want to let you guys know about an awesome upcoming event here in my local area in northern Iowa. Red, White, Blue, and You takes place on Sunday, June 1st at 5 p.m. at the Hancock County Fairgrounds in Britt, Iowa. They're going to have some awesome speakers, great food. It's going to be a heck of a time. They've got Leo Kelly, who is a January 6th prisoner, gubernatorial candidate, former guest on this show, Brad Sherman, and U.S. Senate candidate Jim Cartlin. And there's a few others as well. It's going to be a great lineup, awesome night, pork loin supper, live and silent auction, and they're even going to raffle off a gun. So if you don't have anything going on Sunday night, June 1st, I highly recommend come to Britt and have fun at the Red, White, Blue, and You. What is the real danger of artificial intelligence? We've seen a lot about in the recent years what AI can do positively for us. And of course, there's been concerns about things like job security and what kind of roles AI is going to play in the marketplace once it's fully developed and fully to the point that it can just run on its own. But do we need to worry about a robot takeover? I don't know. I mean, worst case scenario, we just end up living like the fat people in WALL-E, right? You know, maybe it'll decide that humans aren't worth it and they just need to kill us all. I don't know. What I do know is that I am concerned about the current AI trying to become a supernatural deity. There's a new AI out there called the Blessed Mother Mary AI, and it is a chatbot that Catholics are starting to use where they can supposedly converse with Mary herself. We know that Catholics take part of the idolatrous act of praying to Mother Mary, but talking to an AI that is pretending to be Mary, I mean, come on, guys. That cannot be cool. And I don't know if the Catholic Church is behind this. I don't know if Catholics think this is good or not. Obviously, I might have my differences on the Catholic obsession with Mary, but even if you're Catholic, I would think you can understand that an AI chatbot being your source of prayer is not right. I mean, that's almost worse than a Ouija board. It's like you're talking to a demon online directly. There's a less bad version, I guess I would say, or not version of this, but a less bad idea anyhow, where Jordan Peterson is creating a King James Bible AI where you can ask questions of an AI that is trained solely on a King James Version Bible. Now, this is an intriguing idea, and I'd love to use it, but I'm a little bit concerned about being trained solely on that without the historical context, without any of the confessions, being trained to actually comprehend the Bible. Having a AI out there that is claiming to just be the Bible is going to mislead its users, and it's going to give false information. I think that technology, it can be used for good, but is it really going to promote Christianity, or is it more of a tool for Satan to use? Because we know that like 99% of the internet is just used for porn and gambling and all these sinful acts. So what little percentage is left that gets divided up to be used for actual evangelizing and teaching on the Bible? I don't know if the internet is really the place that we want to rely on for that. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I obviously think the internet's a good thing. We're using it right now for my podcast, for me to record this, for you to listen to this. All of the theological knowledge that I glean from the internet and from podcasts is great. But I think that we need to bring the focus back to God and Scripture and not so much on what we can find online, especially when you get into this AI world. I think the Bible app on your phone, just having the Bible accessible, that's an awesome thing, but that's probably about where we want to draw the line. We don't want to go too far into thinking that we're actually talking to the Bible, because in reality we're not. And we don't need to talk to the Bible because we don't need the Bible to become a deity for us. We've already got God, and we can just talk to him directly. So let's just go with that. I mean, the internet is nothing that is changing anything. This isn't new. For centuries, people have engaged in idolatry, superstition, sacrilege, but it always pretty much winds up with you just talking to a demon. So whether it's witchcraft, Ouija boards, mediums, or even AI, it's all the same. It's all just literally conversing with a demon. So I think we better just stay away from this stuff. And if you're Catholic, let me know what you think of this. But I obviously think that a Mother Mary AI is a terrible idea. But who knows? Maybe you think it's great. And if that's the case, maybe I offended you. And that's good. But that's all I got time for. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great week. And stay conservative.